Now we're standing and just a bit.
It's frustrating to me that you don't know how to make it go up.
Wheel, upper.
Is that on the right?
Yeah.
Just check the cameras.
Yeah, it is.
720. Can you check the audio?
Audio, Yeti.
Yeti.
Okay, and then we're live on. Okay, we're live on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Okay, this is critical. She's super nice about it, but I got to be the bad guy. If you find us on social media and click share, then your friends and family will know that they can bid on this piece. It's not to say that your friends and family have to buy your piece, but if you share it, if everybody shares it, then we get some eyeballs on the work, and then we will make some money. Some nights there's 100 people in here. Don't tell the fire department. And tonight the fire department could totally come in. We just make them a coffee. What would we do on the 100 night? Probably like just rips her shirt off and runs out the front door.
No. So, just distraction. Something like that.
Bikini Rumble House. But yeah, so on a night like tonight, it's absolutely essential that you find us and click share, because that's what will keep us alive. Now here's the scary part and the sad part. I'll say to everybody, hey, can you guys just find us and click share? And it's like, yeah, we got you. And so I'm like, go ping, like, thanks, Neil. And I'll hear ping, like, because it actually tells me when you do. So it really helps if you do make that connection. If you're here to buy stuff, for instance, where did Scott go?
He had to go.
Oh, he's not saying. If you're here to buy
there's
stuff,
one Scott here.
Yeah, the other Scott left. It does not behoove you as a buyer to share the link, because it means you have better competition. But actually, most people that are buyers are the most eager to share our links, and we really appreciate that. Yeah.
All right.
Because really, we're not like a viable business so much as like
just do fun stuff.
Sinking ship of comedy.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like all the nautical themes too, because it's like the Island of Misfit Toys, and then sinking ship.
We are.
All right. So to start. We're going to bring up Gamaliel first. And a big round of applause. It's his first time selling with us. So, yeah, you can see, show your work to the people at home first. We're kind of, this one.
Right here.
That's okay. That's perfect.
Okay, I'll just, right there. There we go.
You were very intuitive. It takes me like years to learn how to do this. So would you like to talk about your piece at all?
I'd love to. So this is my artwork.
Talk about your piece at all?
My bad.
Obviously, this is a drawing of Superman, and this is sort of his family in Krypton, who the planet is dead.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's a lot more tragic image than.
Can I say that I always saw Superman as a very tragic figure who was isolated and alone.
Yeah,
couldn't make love, couldn't fall in love. Maybe he'd blow your face off if he thought you're pretty. Like I think, I always saw the tragedy of him being the only of him. And a lot of people thought it was this exception. Like, wouldn't it be great to be special?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's crappy to be.
That's very
bulletproof.
True. But what's so great about Superman is just he, how much he wants to be in Krypton. He finds a home through Earth, and he finds family, adoptive mother and father, and has this really great ability to inspire, to be incredibly strong and fast, to help people, and just to, of course, inspire people to do good things. And yeah, this is all this is just, I guess, how, a rough draft on how I wanted Superman face to be. And this is the, of course, final draft. In the beginning, it was, other than just drawing, Superman, initially I didn't really like how I drew the face in the beginning, and then I just kept going. And then, I wanted to draw the Earth and the sun with it. as well as like, you know, satellites and also the moon, just so like people would, I don't know, I guess like know how powerful and how like, you know, really cool he is.
What's your opening bid for this? What is your opening bid for this?
Oh, that's right. $10 would be pretty nice.
And then to just tell you that half of the money goes to the artist and half the money goes to keeping this open. But I'm absolutely going to bid 20 for this to start.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
how about 25?
Oh, nice.
My Nemeth, he's the Lex Luthor tonight.
No, Scott is also a
I love you, Scott. Thank you.
That's all right.
Can I see it again?
So it's at, what is that? 25 to Scott?
Yeah.
I really like when you said the idea of working through stuff rather than stopping is something that's really a powerful message instead of just stopping and starting on a fresh page. The idea of working through, and it's a really strong piece for that because you can see all of the process.
What I like is, and I wonder if I can get the camera to zoom in on this. I like the sense of building with ink lines. And there's a lesson I teach at school. And there's a moment where I connect with kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always on the first day, but there's a certain connection. And I had this connection just the other day. I had a kid in my class. He didn't know he was an artist. He kind of thought he was a jock, needed to take an option, right? He's in my class. He's drawing this drawing. He's kind of embarrassed to talk to me about it. I go, let me see this. And he didn't love it. But what I loved about it is I said, you know, one of the things I need to teach you is called quality of line. And there isn't a good verbal definition of what quality of line is. And if I were to ask Jessica to explain quality of line to you,
I would say the line makes you feel different things depending on the weight of it. Like
the way I say it is you can look at it and you can see it and you'll know it right away.
Yeah.
But it would take me half an hour to put it into words. And I can never show you how to do it. This is the one lesson in my class that you have to learn on your own. Yeah. And when I get a chance to see it, there is a lovely quality of line, especially in this space. And I love it. I would bid $30 against Scott, but we were $1,900 short last month. That's partly my fault.
All right, so it's currently at $25, and we used to going once, going twice thing, but if we keep it open a little longer, people might be able to log in and see it. So we're gonna leave it up, and if you need to leave, you can leave. We'll keep it open.
Awesome.
And then I will email you your hat.
Great.
Am I crazy, or does it seem a lot brighter tonight?
Cool, no worries. Sorry, Rich?
Am I crazy, or does it seem a lot brighter tonight?
Yay! Thanks, William.
Does it seem brighter tonight?
I'm not sure. It might be that there's like less stuff distracting us.
Oh. All I see is this glowing white head in the video.
We also have more space. I wonder
Right,
if that's
but
it.
it's
'Cause
like-
we're used to being like really close.
I used to have lovely golden brown hair, and now it's like
All right.
the silver lit sun.
Alex. This is by Alex. And it is a cute little illustration of the Friends of the Forest. Would you like to say anything about your work, Alex? You can come up if you want.
Sure.
I like that there's space now. People can actually see you.
It's kind of a big adjustment.
It is actually,
Alright.
yeah.
So starting off at $2 for this, it's just a quick sketch, Friends of the Forest.
I'll bid $2 because you know what? I'll take it to school and the kids will think I'm effing edgy because I drew mushrooms. Or not drew, but bought mushrooms.
And yeah, I was thinking,
That would be a picture of mushrooms. Just be clear. See, all joking aside, right? All joking aside, most teachers aren't as paranoid about that as I am. But it would not be difficult for anybody on staff or at school to think I was on mushrooms or drunk when I'm at my best, right? So I try and stay away from it. Like I'll see kids drawing mushrooms in class, and I'll say to them like, it's not because they want me to say no, you're not allowed to do this. Mushrooms and guns and like decapitations and stuff. they draw decapitations. I'm like, I'm not going to stop you from drawing this, but you shouldn't draw it here. And they're like, yeah, because I'm going to get in trouble. I'm like, no, because we're both going to end up in counseling. Like,
Like, what's wrong
you
with
for
you?
drawing and me for letting you.
you.
But with the mushrooms, I'll say to them, it's funny because if you came into my class and you were acting tired or weird and I asked you if you were high, you would be so offended. You'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said I was high. And then I would get a phone call. Did you accuse my whatever of being high? And I would say, listen, if you come to school with a Nirvana t-shirt, I'm going to expect you can get the reference to Smells Like Teen Spirit, right? If you come to school with mushrooms on your clothes or like a pot leaf, right? And then you're acting weird, I might be worried that you're high, but you express yourself through the things you purchase and buy and wear. And for that reason, I'd like to buy this for $2.
Hey, yeah, there's just a couple of like little mushroom buddies. There are a few in the background as well.
They really are
basically-
buddies.
Yeah, I basically wanted them to feel kind of like,
Love.
yes, exactly.
mushrooms.
Just love. Just you got these little friends in the force whenever you're like tired or had a long day or whatever. Go out into the backyard,
day's
back
a
into
long
the
day.
forest, and you just like sit back, chill, and
I
Let
also
'em know
really
what's
love
going
the
on.
primaries.
Yeah, I've got
They're
the-
healing.
They are healing.
I had the 3 primary Sharpies in my bag and a bunch of metallic gel pens and the gold pen. Which
I had, this is my third story about school, then I'll stop talking about school. But I had this kid in the most vivid blue t-shirt today. And I was like, what a great color. And then I noticed that his hat and his shirt matched. And then his friend showed up in phys ed wearing the most vivid red shirt. Lo and behold, we went outside. He put a bright red matching hat on. I was like, that looks great. And I'd wished,
They
but
had
I
a
didn't-
third friend.
I didn't expect to, but I wished I would see a kid in a yellow hat and a yellow t-shirt, and it would have been perfect. I would have had a Crayola box of students.
Oh my god, just the perfect primary
The
trio.
Crayola gang.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Awesome.
show it and then we'll count
Thank
that one out in
you.
a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. So it's currently at $2 Stretch Teru. Yay! Yeah, we can do that. And here, Allie's working on some pieces in the back, but is it okay if I put your wild necklace in? Yeah. Wonderful. So
Did she
Allie's
say no?
She said,
Yeah,
yeah.
but would she say no?
Oh, would you?
No.
Would she be like, no? I don't think so.
Why am I teasing her about this?
Because I ask
Because
things
she's
when I
an
don't
adult and
need
she
to.
asked me if she can go to the bathroom.
I,
and she
it's
asked me
only
in
when it's
public.
like we're
She's
leaving.
like, can I
It's
go to the
is it okay
bathroom?
if I
I'm
go
like,
to the
oh my
washroom?
God, there's people here. Go to the bathroom.
Ah, it's just because if it's convenient or not, and maybe other people don't worry about that. I'm sorry. Okay, this is by Allie.
You're a teacher and you think you need permission to go to the bathroom.
It's true. And
All kidding aside,
a lot
I
of
asked
the
the
times
teaching
we-
aide if I could go to the bathroom.
we don't
and she-
have. Yeah.
We're conditioned to not go to the bathroom in the daytime, ask for permission to go to the bathroom. And also, when we try and watch TV, if we're teaching in 40-minute gaps, it's like 40
That's
minutes
right.
of TV. This year, they extended it to 47-minute gaps. And then, so like the bell rings, you teach another class, you go home, you put on a TV show, 47 minutes on the dot, we hit stop and go do something else. Pavlov's Apple Plus.
This is by Allie. And polymer clay, the wild, yeah. And we have opening. I think this one was opening 20.
You're still shaking it.
I don't mean to. I'm shaky. Opening
Sketchy,
is
Jesse.
$20 for this lovely pendant and necklace. Wild.
We have a product camera.
And what is it?
Oh, it's a polymer clay.
Yeah.
It's the best thing we have, but if you put an object in front of the camera, this camera is trained to forget to look for my face and it will look at the product. So there's me, and then I
might
become
use
full,
them, We'll see.
Okay, yeah, no, it's good. We'll keep showing.
but you got to hold it still. And then when we move to the Isle of Rue, we need 2 product cameras.
Would you?
Are you waiting to bring up work?
Would you like?
She can do it.
Here we go. Here you go, Tess.
We do so much better if the people on the line see your face.
No, thank you.
No, it's
I'm going to tell you you're beautiful, whether you sit there or not.
oh, it's so
My face is behind it, but no.
Okay, here we go. So these are by Santana, and
Did I see?
Yeah.
I like it.
Little, is it Beedrill? I don't know the name.
Combi.
Combi. So cute. And Felix, when he was little, we had clay over the summer and he made a little Combi out of clay, ceramic. It was very cute. And the opening bid is $10 for this lovely, it's like very spring and
Jigglypuff.
very
Incorrect.
incorrect.
Were you here last week? I told them a whole story about how
Spriggity.
I can't process
Pokemon.
at all. But before I recognized I couldn't even remember process Pokemon, I have no familiarity with it. So my high school kids would tell me the names of the characters and I would envision them and draw them and they were just losing their minds.
Oh yeah, there's people bidding. Are there
Laughing.
people bidding?
Kelly bid $10.
Yeah. On what, Kelly? On Santana's? Kelly has some pretty cute Pokemon creepy creature creations that she's been working on. So this is at $10 to Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. And correct me if I got you on for the wrong one.
Okay. Kelly, there's a time lag between us now and where you are. We don't know how long it is. It could be a
Oh,
second.
did she
or
say
10
the one
minutes.
she's holding on right now?
Yeah, so
You have to describe it,
you have
people
to
at home.
describe it in some
Sorry.
way because now for you isn't the same as now for me.
Time isn't real. We were watching the eclipse on Monday on the live broadcasts at lunchtime and stuff. And I was like, but this is in Mexico, like shooting live from NASA. So I'm like, so what does that mean? Has it happened already? And the kids are like, we were just like talking about it. I was like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, it was weird.
and the kids got like held in all day because they weren't allowed to go outside. And they're like, but I just want to look. And they're like, that's why you can't go outside. And they're trying to find the side of the building that the sun was. I'm like, stop it.
You know what I did? I went to school and I anticipated which kids were going to go to school and look at the yeah. And I'll tell you for two reasons. One,
This is also by
we don't really
Santana.
watch TV, so we didn't have exposure to everybody freaking out.
Mhm.
But two, I read an article about it in a science magazine in at Christmas, and we've been like processing, like we got to watch this thing, we got to watch this thing.
Mhm.
So my brain, it's something I've been waiting for since earlier in the year because I read about it in a scholarly article. But we're not exposed to all the paranoia of like glancing at the sun or the paranoia of it opening a gate to hell or any of that stuff. I had no idea that people knew about it. But I drove into school and I was thinking maybe I can just look at it for a second. And then I was like, no, you can't look at it. And then so while I found for the split second that I was processing, can I look at the eclipse? While I was driving, I did a little research on like, remind me why I shouldn't look at the eclipse. The reason you shouldn't look at eclipse is the light is 10 times more intense,
Mhm.
but it seems dark. So where your eyes think it's dark, it's your eyes are opening up to absorb all the light, and the light is extra dangerous. So it's a combination double whammy of the. Does everybody know this? Okay, I
I
apologize.
hadn't thought about
Not entirely.
the part, your
Right.
eye being
The-
open.
about your eyes opening to absorb the light. So I drove into school. I picked the 5 kids I was pretty sure that were going to go out and stare at the sky anyways.
Anyways.
Sure enough.
4 out of those 5 kids, don't worry, I brought 2 pairs of sunglasses. And that was their plan, is to put one pair of sunglasses over top of an, and not polarized, just your straight gas station sunglasses. And I was like, I'm gonna beat you with the stupid stick. You are. And so after talking to those 5 kids and everyone I saw to like, look at, I know it sounds stupid, please don't look at the sun. Then the science teacher's like, let's go get the welding helmets. And I'm like, ah. So
It's all up, yeah.
This is opening $40 by Santana. Look at the magic.
what did you just say?
$40 by Santana.
Did you say look at the magic?
Look at the magic.
Nice.
It's your favorite. It's glitter, but not done in the shop.
Yeah, right. The kids at school too. They're like, Miss Terry, do you have glitter? Where's the glitter? I'm like, it's out of here because I throw it out. And they're like, what? Can I bring some in? I'm like, no, I've gone out of my way.
Can I ask you? Is what? So, yeah, as creators, we hate glitter. As art buyers, we love glitter. That's remarkable.
It's very on there.
Yeah.
Professional.
Lots of clear
Can I
coat.
touch it? Can I touch it?
Clear
Yeah.
coat.
You're the best glitterer person ever. And you are the only person here allowed to use glitter in this space. We won't stop you from glittering if you come in here. And you have permission. Everybody else, we don't stop people for glittering, but you should hear shit mouth you when you leave.
Sweeping like that.
Now, I'm going to also explain that we printed one of every size of the Black Isle of Rue t-shirts.
Yes.
And each of those t-shirts got a Darcy Lasecki white thumbprint on the back
It
because
wasn't a white thumbprint. It was a smudge because he used oil paint on the table instead of using a palette, which we have Apple palettes.
without cleaning. There's a very authentic. It's a collaborative piece. There's a rich terror.
If
just
you see
terror.
white paint on the back,
And this is the first time Felix collaborated with us to help make the t-shirt. So there's a
so much stress.
family terror on the front, and then many of them have a little and we purposely left a trace of it so that we could razz
We
on
tried to
Darcy.
wash it, but
So
that one, oh yeah,
Yeah,
there it is.
right? So each of them has this tiny little white Darcy Lasecki print on the back, which makes them even more valuable.
Yes. Did you? Oh, fun.
And then we have
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to show your work that you did today?
I have so much work.
What would you like to show first?
I don't know. I don't want to be like a pig.
No, show it. Like,
Did
show
you change
people.
the thing?
Auction,
9 o'clock.
9 p.m.
Nice.
There we go.
This is what I painted today. It is well,
Whoa.
I'm gonna say, why is this so bright?
Is it not even decreasing in brightness?
No, it'll get brighter.
Whoa!
Oh, there we go.
I wonder if it reacts to the light in the room. So, why do I like ink? We're clearing up the gallery. I had a bucket of inks that I've been meaning to get to. I realize I have more than a lifetime supply of ink.
Flow.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
I've been playing with ink at school.
Here
I have
goes
another
slow.
piece I did at school too. When I go on a road trip, I don't know why my 20-year-old son and my 10-year-old son think it's hilarious whenever I ask for salty nuts. I love having salty nuts in my mouth. I like chewing salty nuts. I get thirsty after a mouthful of salty nuts. Sometimes they leave a bit of a sweaty aftertaste, but I just love salty nuts. And for some reason,
Before you go
when I
to
try and find my jar of nuts to paint with at school and I can't find my nuts at school, the kids think it's hilarious too. But nuts and bolts drawing. What's so funny?
That's the funniest thing.
Salty nuts.
Oh, Rich.
So again, this was a huge breakthrough because you get these kids and they have this idea of what art should be. And I would call this a bit of a triumph where I'm not very crafty, but like, yeah, I just took a handful of nuts and bolts and threw them in a jar with my inks and threw them down on the paper and let them roll around. And as they're more the screws that really work. Also funny word, screws and nuts and bolts. Actually, this is a little disturbing. Maybe I won't tell you.
Well, now I'm in trouble.
There are several art terms that you can't get away from. But when you say them, depending on how savvy the kids are in your class, they laugh their face off. And so some of them, you're talking about this, like salty nuts is like a 10-year-old name, but some of them are a little more like, do we really talk about this? And so I'm using an art term, which I'm not going to use because at this point it's gotten pretty grotesque. And the kids start giggling. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But this one I got a little crafty and I was rolling the screws around. And what's nice is when the screw rolls, it makes these perfect circles and the other end of it makes circles. So this is a little bit crafty for me. But my whole class dove into this for different reasons. They love using my expensive materials when they know I paid for them. So I walk in, I'm like, I got this bucket of inks. This would last me 2 lifetimes. It'll last you guys half an hour. Please don't be wasteful with my inks. The school buys you supplies, but these are mine. They're like, ah, suddenly they're interested. And so they use up them, but the explosive flow and looseness and acceptance and the embracement of the random that took place in my classroom this year was like, I'm literally trying to touch the floor, but my feet are rejecting. There's a 2-inch anti-magnet in my foot that floats me off the ground. I'm so amazed by the work that was in my kids' class. Why am I showing this?
I have a question.
What?
You're talking about bolts and nuts.
Oh yeah,
What are your opening bids?
$5
these?
for that.
Kelly bid 10 and 10 for the nut and bolt one.
And can I tell you about this?
Yeah.
This was on donated paper that is from the 1970s. And it's made out of, like, there's certain materials that you touch and you're like, I remember this. And so as soon as this get wet, everybody's like, yo, because it smells like a rotten egg when it's wet. As soon as it dries, it does not smell at all anymore. But there's a quality to this paper that is just magic. And it'll look nice in a frame. If you're not going to frame it, if you just want it as a poster, I'm going to slam it under the iron before you go, because that'll make the paper perfectly flat again, and that'll be nice. But this is, do you read it? It's a man battling the evil. You know,
You can
it's one of
really
the great
see.
themes. It's man against, what are the themes again? Man against man?
Into the adventure.
Yeah.
Like, because the themes from tonight, you mean?
No.
Oh, conflict is man versus man versus himself, man versus supernatural.
This is man, actually, in this case,
good versus
man versus himself.
himself.
Yeah. So that's what that one is. And
So that's at $10 to Kelly, and Dusty just bid $20 on the nuts and bolts.
so
Dusty bid 20.
this piece I'm titling Salty Nuts.
Salt peanuts, salt peanuts.
I'll show it without the.
I really love the colors.
Yeah, well, you know, because there's literally probably 5 to 10 minutes of me bouncing nuts and bolts across the page, about 45 minutes of pencil crayon, and another 38 seconds of yellow. And I would say the yellow ended up taking over, but there's like really the most extensive stuff was just me sitting very quietly and having a pencil crayon battle with the wildness of this, because I wanted to try and pull back some control into it. I do deeply wish I could have shown my kids stuff. Is it okay if I show a few of my things all at
Oh
once?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't actually watch TV so much as I'll have it on while I'm painting 1920s boxers. So I have the tube on. This is actually the impetus of that piece, the man versus himself.
I really love this.
Yeah. So one of the nice things about us moving away from having this full-time space is I have the joy of working on paper. One of the nice things about me working on paper is it's really easy for me to mail these out to Richard from Illinois. But this is probably, you know, I'm kind of going through these like growth changes where we're going to shut this place down and start making pieces that we mail out to people.
I really love that you so you said what did you say? The junk man's obligato.
The Junkman's Obligato.
And then we were looking up the word,
This is something I've talked about my whole life.
Yeah.
The Junkman's
and
Obligato.
I didn't know it was a Ferlinghetti poem.
Right.
And so we found the poem. So if you get that piece, we'll send you the YouTube of a beautiful jazz quintet actually, and him saying saying the poem. It's very magical.
This one is some topless bikini ladies playing volleyball on a beach. And the only reason I did this is I happen to have some gold ink. And I'm not sure that even if this is appropriate or finished, but it had a nice quality of sinking into the sunset where I just decided to stop. But I did worry that the one lady, I didn't finish painting her bikini, and it's very
I
subtle. You don't
I
really notice
love-
it, but I don't like feeling like it's exploitive in any way.
I love how free it feels, very free and very just love. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel exploitive at all. I love how you did it, and I don't like how like. No, I don't like, but like when things are overly illustrated to make sure that like when it's overly done.
This is kind of what I'm
It's-
enjoying right now is I don't really have to impress anybody anymore. So I will have hit 2,000 paintings that I sold to keep this place open by next December. I'm probably sitting around 1,700, probably sitting around 1,700 paintings that I personally made to keep this place open.
Yeah.
I don't know how many we've made. We've kind of thought about adding it all up. We added up yearly. for
One day we
accountants.
will. Yeah.
We
But
don't have
all of
our
it.
group sum of what came and went, but it's all on paper. We just don't know in our heads. So we're really looking forward to figure out exactly how close to 2,000 paintings I've made. After December, I'm never selling another painting again for the rest of my life. So
What if someone asks for commission?
Suck.
Would they have to maybe do a good deed for
I
it?
particularly hate commissions.
Right. Anyway.
So the answer is going to be no.
right.
But if
But
I
if-
like them, I'll do it for free.
That's I was gonna say that's actually always the answer. is
Scott's
you-
going to suffer because he loves paying me for my work.
but
But he's only got till December, and then he's going to have to just do it because he's my friend. I'm only going to do work for love and friendship after December.
I like that. So
but
this,
until December, we'll take the money because this place is expensive.
actually, Scott donated this piece from his friend Lorianne.
Other Scott or
Um,
the Scott?
Scott.
You-
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so,
so nice.
So this is Kate Bush painted by Lori. And Lori was the one that brought Scott down originally, he was saying. So that's a very
Mhm.
nice flow. And so he donated this piece to the gallery, this portrait of Kate Bush. So any of the money he said goes to the gallery.
Kate Bush
That's
lives in
so
my
kind of
head,
you.
has always lived in my head.
Mhm.
And this thing about the Junkman Zublighetto, Jess, I didn't realize until the other day Jess didn't know what an Ublighetto was. I thought everybody knew what an Ublighetto was.
Mhm.
I didn't realize until Stranger Things that people didn't live with Kate Bush in their heads, right?
Yeah.
This one TV show pops this one, and it's a great song, but this is something that's lived in my head
Mhm.
since the 1980s. And it's neat that she had that resurgence, I think.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting to me, like, obviously Kate Bush is a big part of your life.
Oh yeah.
So many people didn't know they loved Kate Bush until Stranger Things.
I've always.
Did we get any dings?
Really
What's your opening bid for Kate Bush?
Oh, I don't know, like $5,
Okay.
like whatever.
Lovely.
Like
I
it's all going to you guys.
It's very lovely. Thank you. Oh yeah, I could try to.
No, put your arms up. Put this arm up.
It's really well done.
It
Yeah,
is
it's like
very
having
well.
Kate Bush right here in the gallery.
Actually,
Actually, you look a little like Kate Bush to me.
okay. Sorry, there's many.
12 people with us.
I know it's amazing. So this is.
Can I try this one? Only because
Sure.
if it doesn't get a bid right away, I might keep it. And the reason I say that is we made a whole bunch of, what was the first color of t-shirts?
I can't remember.
But there's just one blue, purple.
Purple was the first.
There's just one blue t-shirt. I don't know why there's one. I think I might have bought this for myself because it's my size. And Jess is like, are you keeping one of these? I'm like, nah, I have one. But I looked at it, I was like, ooh, these are so soft.
And this, yeah, these are very.
And I don't have a blue one, and it is just my size. So you get one shot at this, and then it's mine because I kind of want it.
There you go.
It's like the command t-shirt because you can buy black ones if you're like in engineering. But go ahead.
This is by Alvin. He brought this one down this evening.
Oh, this
I was
one's also
working
my
on
size.
it.
How's it look? I
I-
might keep two. We spend so much money on t-shirts.
You could really like you made it. You can keep it.
Yeah, like I made it. Why
And we
can't I
made
have-
lots.
Why can't I have nice stuff?
I really love how intense the lettering on this one is.
Yeah, and I told him like this seemed like really next level to me. He's like, I don't think it's my best work, but I think it really is his best work. It's really.
We're not best, but different. Like you said, next
What's the
level.
opening bid?
$20.
$20.
$20 opening bid for this lovely piece. And just to show you some of his different
Where's
styles.
the phone? Let's just double check it's not missing the.
This
bead.
one actually, so these are more recent pieces, and you can Whoa.
Recent pieces. They're chocolatey and peanut buttery.
Mm.
This is also by Most and it's very celestial cool.
Oh wait, okay,
Opening
so $20 for
20.
nuts and bolts. Did we get that already?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
All right, let's shake things up a bit, okay?
Okay.
Dusty was the last one to
That one.
nuts and bolts. There's no room for a lag tonight. Going once. Going twice. My hands are still yellow. Going 3 times. Dusty, this is your nuts and bolts. Highly crafted piece. Sold.
Well,
Murder outside.
No, they're just excited.
Okay.
They're just happy.
I'm gonna overwork this one if I don't get a bid, so I'm gonna put this aside. And
What's your
overwork it
opening
for-
bid?
No, I'm gonna overwork it for next week.
Overwork it for next week. I like that plan. Funny.
This is a funny thing because, like I was saying, I have this new freedom where I get to stop and do what I want.
Yeah.
I quite like this piece, and
I like it too.
I would kind of love to take this one home, which is funny because, like, I
Good
find the
for you.
more I like my own work,
If you,
the less they sell. But this one's going home for me.
but maybe that's good because then you can actually.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that, like, I didn't think I was placating to anybody in any way, but the pieces I really love for myself don't get bids.
That one is at $10 to Kelly.
Oh, I thought I got to keep this one too. So nuts and bolts are going.
Yeah, and this one.
Kelly, I'm gonna put this under the iron because right now it's a bit wrinkly because it got wet. But once I iron it, it's just like fresh paper. It's so nice. Does it look wrinkly to you guys?
You can see.
not really.
When you iron, do you guys ever iron stuff? Your
Yeah.
artwork?
I did that before.
You haven't? Put it down face down so you're not running the iron across the surface. Crank up the iron and just stop before the paper browns. And when you lift it up, it's just like the paper was before you got started. And it's a little bit like when we use our record cleaner. Hey,
Yeah.
there's a few really super satisfying feelings. Throttle on the motorcycle. Hands up if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Clutch in a manual, lifting that clutch and feeling that zing. Did anybody here? I'm guessing. I'm looking at the room. I think some of you still sleep on futons or like the bed that you had in college. Yeah, at some point in your life, you're going to buy a ridiculously expensive mattress and be like, "What have I been doing with my life?" You've got a decent mattress.
Yeah.
How old were you when you got one?
Probably like 24.
Oh, that's young. I went good into my 30s and I was like, I got a mattress. Like, oh my God, half my life is on a bed. This is heaven.
I know.
But yeah, ironing your artwork and that's why I love printmaking. Screening is I lift the screen up and I see the picture arrive. My Polaroid camera, my instant camera. Okay, so I'm losing this one. This one's
$10.
$10.
Going once.
okay.
Going times, Kelly.
Going once, twice, 3 times.
This one by Santana is also at $10 to Kelly. Going once, going twice, going 3 times, going to Kelly. It's really.
This is a size small. We have 2 qualities of t-shirt. So some of them, we're not big supporters of Walmart. I don't have anything against Walmart, but they have fairly comfortable shirts. These ones are from Work Warehouse, so they're quite expensive in terms of t-shirts. But this is a pink Isle of Rue.
The pink looks good with the color.
Yeah. Press of the Isle of Rue. Am I holding it up right?
Yeah.
It's not really like it's this shirt's too loud for the screen.
It's too, yeah, it's like back
There's a pink tank top here.
feedbacking.
That one's small. There's a very soft. This is also
Love your descriptive
well,
voice.
no, but like some of
It's-
these are just like
it's
I just
so
want to go home and
soft.
rub
I know.
myself with this t-shirt. Is
I know it is very soft,
that weird the way I said it?
a little, but we
I
like.
guess we're not selling this one.
I'll
I'll put this
I was
one
gonna say, I
aside.
could
So
buy
yeah,
that.
this is the weird t-shirt
I
over
can.
here.
This is
There's one gray. The only of its kind, if it's unless it's a medium, then I'm gonna put it in my pile of t-shirts because it's a small. It's a big small. What about this? A gray Isle of Rue. My dog Skippy used to say "I love you" when he whined. He'd be like, and
It's like extra sad when it's a dog. Like crying.
have you guys seen
What's happening?
Where the Wild Things Are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a great soundtrack, and in the background, Carol, who's this big monster, is howling as Max is going back to his house. It's like an 8-page story with like 58 words. Like it's a very short story that somehow they turned into a feature film. I love both the film and the short story, and the continuity, even though it doesn't make sense that it's the same narrative, holds up so well. I didn't bawl my face off in the theater when Max went home and Carol was like, oh, like howling at him as he left. But the howl made it into the soundtrack, and I was jogging one day, and there's two things that will really set me off when I'm jogging. One, I have this indigenous album called Eagle Song, and when the powwow songs come on my my rotation while I'm running, I just suddenly like, why am I having a heart attack? It's like, oh, I'm going 12 times faster than I know.
Yeah, because you're going to the.
I
beat
get
of
caught
it.
up by
Yeah,
the beat,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that the powwow songs really get me running too fast. And then the other thing that happened is I was coming up Elbow Drive one day, and in the that one speaker when you're doing stereo, and it's like I've heard it a million times in my car. I've heard it, but I heard it in the side speaker of my headphones. I heard Carol howling, sounded just like my dog Skippy, and I dropped to my knees and started bawling in the park, like because I missed my doggy so much.
Oh.
The Isle of Rue gray shirt small, but it's quite a big small.
Beautiful.
And the rest of them are black and gold and blue. And they have different color schemes depending on what color shirt we're printing onto, because it's green and gold and white for the you say chartreuse.
I really like how you do the color choices
Thanks.
for the colors. It's very cool. This is by Santana. Opening.
Is Santana here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's what we already talked about.
We
Is this
already
black light
talked.
reactive?
I don't know.
Okay.
Did you want to test it?
Hmm.
Well, I'm a little exhausted and the light's all the way over there. So if you did know, if it was like I want to show, I would totally set it up. But if you're not sure, I would love not having to set up because I'm a little exhausted. I actually didn't use any black light tonight because I was like, I'm too tired.
Also, it's kind of a fun thing if people get it home and it is.
What we could do is, what do you think of this? We'll show it here, and then you can quietly just plug in that light over there and test it yourself and see what you got. This black light. If you want to exhibit it in the black light, like if it does show, then bring it back up. Does that make sense? Plugs right behind you, and the light's within arm's reach.
Wonderful.
Oh,
No, but
Did you
it's
show this one?
white.
I like this one. Does I think that is black? Nice black light. Yeah,
Oh yeah, the thing is.
Oh, wow.
it is predictably gorgeous in black light.
And just a subtle glitter as well.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Can I see the Jack Skellington one?
Oh yeah, of course. This
Are we gonna do the lights? Let's go do the lights. I think it's valid. It's funny that when I have a black light painting, I'm all over setting up the black light, and when I don't, I'm too lazy to set them.
Oh, the
Oh,
moon.
the
The moon.
Oh, wow.
The moon.
That's a radioactive green.
I don't remember what it was.
Oops.
You. Plug in here.
Hey Jess,
Hey, yeah.
if my twin brother Ken shows up, can you just tell him I'll be a second?
Sure. I don't know what that means. Wow.
Hey, is Rich here?
Oh my gosh,
Whoa.
Rich will be here in a second.
Yep.
Is that what
Where did he go?
I don't know, but look.
That
Opening
is,
40 for Jack
I
Skellington.
cannot spend enough time apologizing for almost not showing this. Also, that is magic. You are magic.
That's what I said.
We said magic earlier.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what we're
didn't
talking
even
about.
know.
Our expectations for magic were so. Can we acknowledge that there are 16 people watching this from home?
That is
In most cases, it's groups of 2 to 4 people watching together. So that means now there's 15. So somebody didn't like being called out. But
like hi.
so it seems a little sparse in here, but it is the equivalent of when we used to have 40 or 50 people here on a Wednesday night. Now the only thing is, and this is something we it's secondary to why we decided to shut down the Rumble at the end of the year. But we do recognize that we're moving into a space and time where people are struggling financially with food and rent and gas and
Everything.
all kinds of things. So one of the reasons why we decided to walk away from the brick and mortar Rumble House that we love to come and spend time together is that the art buyers that support of us have really been giving everything they have. So there's 40 people with us at home. And there's probably between 20 and 40 people with us. But I just want to say, we're doing great. Despite the fact that the world is falling apart. Come on in and sit.
These clay
Did
pieces.
you come by yourself?
Yeah,
Come and join us. Do you want a chair? Are you here to pick up artwork?
I'm gonna pick up art.
Oh,
I
okay.
just wrote 7 hours worth of exams, so
Oh my god.
Where are you at right now?
not well.
Okay. Do you know Drayden Berry?
Hi.
Hi.
No.
No, but
You're both alumni.
I'm
Oh,
gonna grab your piece.
I'm gonna turn this light off.
Maybe
I
the
don't know.
connection was the salty nuts.
Salty nuts, salty nuts. Whoa.
Wait, I guess What name would it be under? Oh. Maybe let's look. Yeah, no, I was gonna say. Sorry, Rich, I just left you up there. And then
Does anybody want to go be funny on camera for a second?
There we go.
I don't.
I wasn't gonna be the first. The shirts are awesome. This is bright green in large. It's a Walmart large, so it's a little bit larger than a large would be. It's nice and will wash nice. Is it blacklight reactive?
Let us check.
Potentially.
No, but my hair is
Not quite. That's actually pretty good. Awesome color theory as always. Quality shirt.
Bye now.
Cannot buy off of that.
Yeah. I keep wanting to look at the black light, but then it's actually the camera right next to it. But then I want to look at the ring light. I gotta split the
In the
difference.
middle.
There we are. Yeah.
We're gonna need another bit.
Is the orange on that print blacklight reactive?
Ooh, let us check.
It is. All right. We are just testing if this is blacklight reactive. This is not a official bid at the moment.
That one's not blacklight reactive. I don't think it
We're
is.
just checking though.
Out of curiosity, I want to see if mine turns out to be blacklight reactive.
And the theme of tonight being blacklight reactive.
That's been the theme for quite a while
Fair
now.
enough.
Okay, thanks, guys. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'll keep showing work. So this is by Amanda. Opening is 30. And the black light is on. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, I think some of the green, especially. Really love this. Kind of like the makeshift house. Like you keep building on and building on. I really love that. And we're making. Did Rich say he loves this the most? Because this is what he writes. Oh, I really love this piece. So this is a larger piece by Alvin. Opening 40. Let's go home.
Get the biggest size because I want to see her.
She doesn't want.
She doesn't want the biggest.
Can I tell you what we have here?
Yeah.
By Alvin. And
I have 5 times.
I had a really cute story for Kyle earlier. I bought one of his pieces that was the really high reflective one. He had Echo written, and the Echo is in this like super reflective paint marker, and it was just a small one. And I bought it and I put it up in my class, and I told the story better earlier because my brain was more together. But there's this kid in grade 6 I was teaching, and I had just met him this year, and everyone else in the class I had known for like 5 years because I had taught them like health in grade 1 and 2, and then COVID, and then they came back and I taught them grade 4, 5, 6. So a lot of them were like, they just knew where stuff was, come in, make art kind of thing. But this kiddo is like new, just kept like trying to get his stride. He saw Echo's piece in my classroom. He's like, can I buy that? I was like, no, I can't like make a profit off of the children. And so I was like, but you can like look at it. So I just had ordered scratch boards. And this kid like looked at Echo's piece and like copied it verbatim, no drawing it. He just, I don't know if you guys have worked in Scratchboard, but like you can't erase. Like you have to just do one line and that's it. Like you can't erase it. And he did this, he did an exact beautiful copy of Echo's piece in the Scratchboard. So I had to show him today. That was a pretty magical moment. And then today when he came back into class, I had like Scratchboard and tools ready for him. I was like, you can do whatever you want. Like, here's the Scratchboards. Because I was also kind of giving him giving all of the kids, make sure you know what you're doing. Because the Scratchboard, it's like difficult and you can't erase. And often I just find them like, they're too afraid to say like they messed up because they just like huck them or like in the garbage or like shove them into the recycling bin because they don't want to like start fresh or like say, I don't know. I don't want them to feel bad. But like there's like fear of that, like feeling bad, or like that's where you learn is when you like make those mistakes and like Miss Frizzle says, get messy. But so I was giving them that rundown and then he just like went for it and it was awesome. If you guys love Queen, this is Freddie Mercury. This is done by Sandra Cross. Sandra Cross designed this lovely little it's like a little put on your purse or backpack or whatever. And a little stuffy made out of felt and embroidered. And if you can see his cute little front teeth. And she also made the bead herself out of resin. And it was inspired by his I Want to Break Free era. So that's what the beads going down say. So Queen fans. Also like cute, maybe it's like Freddie Mercury and drag. Just cute like earrings and blush, and I just really love this cute little front teeth embroidered. There, you can really see it. So cute. So there we go. Opening is, I think Sandra, if you're watching, let me know. I think it was 20. So cute. Cute. And I don't know if I said this out loud, but these were by Allie. I was showing them while Rich was talking. These are by Allie. They're blacklight reactive. So this is opening 20. And this one's opening 15. They're really cool. I love the texture. Here, there's this. So Brenda is a glass artist. She does painting. She does lots of different things. And Oh, 10. Freddie Mercury, Sandra. Thank you for watching and helping me. Opening for Freddie is 10. Let's find Freddie a home. It's so cute.
You mean the big one or the
This is by Brenda. This is a very springtimey vase, kind of like water jug. It is hand blown glass, and opening is 60. And yay! By Brenda. Scott has a good habit of buying pieces and then gifting them to people, and I love that he came in. He's like, because he has got a few by Brenda, and he's saying, "Well, it's going well so far," because he gets pieces specifically to gift them to people, and I think that's a really good use of art. Like when I see in the art room too, kids, they're doing printmaking, and they're like, we can make infinity prints of this one once you cut the block. I'm like, yeah, that's the fun thing about printmaking is you can just do infinity from there. It's hard work at the beginning, but then you can make. And so they just start making prints for each other's friends, and can I go give this to Miss So and So and Mr. And it's like the sweetest thing to be able to give art as gifts.
Let me know what you think. I gotta get back to the
Thank you so much.
How much was the glass?
60.
Great for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I know the colors are beautiful.
I turned the lights out. Do we have any other black light? I turned the lights out and I said to myself, okay, I'll turn the lights out. I am not turning these back on. But you gotta see this. I have a plan. So I noticed there's some numbers on the back here. And you were talking about the one guy that used the black light at a party and gave everybody cancer. And so then I decided to look these up, which I probably should have done like 5 years ago when we started blasting this light in our face, because it is quite intense. And I misread the numbers. So for about 2 days, I was kind of like, whoa, we've been cooking ourselves in front of that black light for the last 5 years. But it was just one of those things where sometimes I've got so much on my mind, I can't process all the details of a thing. And I ended up having to print out the numbers in front, because it's also when you're like looking at the index for which black light's going to cause you damage. This is in the safe zone, just in case anybody's ever stood in front of it. For about 2 days, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to die a little younger, but it was a great ride.
Rich, this is good black light too. After.
Okay. This is the piece I turned the. Can you see it? Nah. We need the lights back on. Maybe if you just hit the. No, that'll
What are you
ruin the night.
trying to do?
I just want people to see this.
It is really beautiful.
You're getting like an inverted version of it right now because the light is lighting it up so hard that the white looks black. But in the oh no, maybe you can see it. You should also then see it backlit. Oh. You remember when you used to be able to see it all?
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is. This is quite a piece.
Well, I'll throw 60 at it.
60 to Scott! Woo!
These glass pieces and Scott's like shooting fish in the barrel. So it's like
Well, you knew it was going to happen.
we have to be really careful not to take advantage, and we love you so much. And if this is actually
Well, if it gets bit up. I mean,
yeah, that's an amazing piece.
You know
I'll
what I
just
mean?
let you sit by it.
And this is
plug it.
and sorry.
Okay, what doesn't have a bid? What pieces? I just want to show pieces that didn't get. any-
Oh, here we didn't show the ones that we were going to show from.
This pile?
Yeah, this pile, but also the ones from the.
A ding. I love dings. Kelly says, "Can we put the bears in, please?"
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Can you show that? Yes. I'll be right back.
This light now is not helping. Did I just go into robot tired voice?
Rich, read what just the very top. The question.
This one?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
What do we know?
Well, here's an interesting question.
I would
Have
say-
you ever had a lucid dream? Did we talk about this?
Oh, absolutely.
I had my first lucid dream about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
In my lucid dream, I realized I'm having a lucid dream, but what if I'm just dreaming about a lucid dream? And I was like, doesn't really matter, really. So I was in my lucid dream. I was aware of my lucid dream. I wasn't sure if I was having a lucid dream or dreaming about having a lucid dream, but I suddenly realized I'm not going to make it, this won't last forever. And I haven't made, so in my year, like in my dream, like 7 years went by. And I was 7 years into my lucid dream, and I was like, you know what? I've been wasting this time. I was like, I know what I want to do. So I shot up into the top of the sky like Superman style, and I got to the zipper, and I wanted to look behind the curtain, and I pulled the zipper down, and I got this weird like split-second glimpse from behind the curtain. And then it was like I got sucked out of that dream and dropped 5 feet into my bed. And so it was all of the weird dream experiences you have at once. Because as I was falling and landing into my bed, I was like, oh shit, not supposed to look behind the curtain. And it's funny because I'm trying to tell you that story, but all of it was intuitive. I intuitively knew I was having the lucid dream. I intuitively shot up into the sky. Like when I say I wanted to look behind the curtain, do you guys already know what I'm talking about? I don't have to explain that because I don't know what that means, but I sort of feel like we all know what that zipper is and what's behind the curtain. What I didn't know until that moment was with what certainty we are not supposed to peek behind the curtain. Like I woke up and I felt like I got spanked by the gods. Don't do it again. And I thought I probably won't have another lucid dream because I peeked behind the curtain. But the other experience I had with that was Aaron Lee, kind of a very, very wise. He used to come in here and sell dream catchers, and he was kind of like our grandpa, father figure, shaman. He was a lot of things to us, really special guy. And he came in and he was just talking about his pieces. Sometimes he would talk about this piece, sometimes he'd talk about that piece. Sometimes I'm going to say out loud, he would go off on tangents, if you can imagine somebody doing that. But one time he just started up and started telling the story. He would always tell the stories like you knew it already, which was very comforting, but also kind of eerie because you did know it already. And he started talking about that moment before you're born. And you get the checklist. And you're going through the checklist and you're checking off the things that you choose for this life. You're going to be born in 15 minutes. You've got like 9 minutes to fill out the thing. You're at the top and you're like, am I going to go through this life without breaking a bone? Like, oh, I'll give that a shot. Am I going to go through this life without getting my heart destroyed? Like, I'll give that a shot. Do you want to have an exciting, exceptional life? Yes. Are you willing to suffer some pain? No. It bumps you back to, do you want to have an exciting, exceptional life? You're like, yes. You're like, are you willing to experience some pain? You're like, fine. Yes. It's like a little pain or a lot of pain. Just a little. It bumps you back to, do you want to have an exceptional life? You're like, yes. You're like, are you willing to accept some pain? You're like, yes. Like a little pain or a lot of pain. Like, fine. A lot of pain. Well, what do you really want? Give me the thing. You just start checking the whole thing off. Like, oh, I'm going to have the full experience. And when you think of it that way and something shitty happens, you're like, oh, I did this to myself, right? And then when you think of outside of that moment, you know, Felix broke his arm last summer, right? Last summer?
Yeah.
Wow, that feels like a long time ago. But, okay, so we went through the whole summer without an injury. We got on our bikes and we ride from here to Hawkwood. We just adjusted his bike. He's like, dude, I love my bike so much. He didn't want to go on holiday because we were having such a great time bike riding. We fly out to Winnipeg. He gets off the plane and breaks his arm. He phones me from the hospital. It's like, my arm's broken. I was like, oh. And I said, hey, here's the deal. When was the deal that we made? Do you remember? What's that face?
I don't know what deal. I'm trying to.
It's like a
find some.
trade-off, though. It was like a trade-off for something that didn't go
Oh,
wrong.
it's the monster. So he didn't fall in the fire, but he
Right, it
did
was
have
the
to
fire.
break his arm.
So this is This is a total 180. 2 years before he broke his arm, we went camping in Drumheller. And in Drumheller, there's this really cool campsite. It's kind of inner city, but it's far enough across the bridge that you feel like you're camping, but you literally go through a bush and now you're downtown Drumheller. And it's a great campsite, lots of space. The only thing is they have these really rustic campfires that are basically like car wheels where you make the fire. There's a metal rim. We had hot coals, and they were the hottest coals we've ever had, because after we decided to put the fire out, like half an hour after this event, we tried to put the fire out, and the coals just wouldn't go out. So the coals were as hot as coals can be. And Oliver and Felix were playing catch. Felix stepped back and burned his leg on the edge of this wheel. But when he burned his leg, he did one of these. And I'm like, okay.
Oh no.
If he falls back, he's going to land with his buttocks and his genitals in the fire. If he tries to move himself off those embers, he's going to have to put his hands into the embers to push himself off of the embers while his buttocks and genitals are burning. I saw his entire life flash in front of me. I saw the next 9 years of skin grafts pass in front of me. And, it's 50-50. And he tips himself back forward and starts complaining that he burned his leg. And I'm like, shut up. Because do you know what I just did? I just split the universe open, step behind the curtain, and make a deal with Uncle Beasley that you're going to break your arm on holiday in Winnipeg in 2 years.
Instant.
You get to keep the nuts and the ass and the fingers. But when it's time to pay the piper, you're going to jump off a swing set and everybody in the playground is going to hear your arm snap, okay? That's just the deal.
It's all balance. It's all shut up.
I said to him while he's in the hospital sulking, and he's more worried about ruining his mom's holiday, but he's sulking. He's kind of weeping a bit. And I don't speak to my son that way when I say shut up, but I actually said it was in a funny way. Yeah. But I explained to him that, no, you broke your arm because 2 years ago I made a deal with the devil so you could keep your nuts. And he's like, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And it just made so
point blank
sense to him.
Never made another complaint about the arm again. Every time he looks at the arm, he's like, yeah, I had that coming. That's fair. That's a good deal, really. The arms out like this for a year. And then he got good at running like this. And then he got the cast off. He's got this giant shoulder arm and this kind of twig, and then another arm. He's like, I can lift my hand over my head today, Dad. He's fine now.
He's fine now.
Got 2 nuts and an ass and some fingers. So it's all great. He's got 2 asses. One's his dad.
I don't know how to segue. But it's true. You have to make
deals with the devil
all the time. I don't know if Pearl has to make deals with the devil. She's pretty chill.
Maybe you can get my eyesight back. I just did this to you guys 10 minutes ago. You've got no sympathy, Karma.
On the topic of deals.
My friend Kevin at work is kind of like shiny on top, furry on the side, shiny on top.
Yeah.
And he has been since he was quite young. And we go to get our 5th COVID shot, and I noticed this pattern that I'm pretty blessed to have some hair.
Yeah.
It all turned white. I sulk about that sometimes, but I got my COVID shot, and I just run my hand through my hair, and it's like this handful of haircuts. Like there's like a furball in my hand, or a truffle, tribble in my hand. And so I go to work, and I say to my friend Kevin, "Hey man, I got my shot, but my hair's falling out." And he's like, "I don't want to hear it." So apparently it's.
This is by Kelly.
Yeah.
It's opening $60.
Yeah.
And her name's Pearl. And she just likes being on the farm crocheting little chickens.
Nice.
So that's what she does. Opening is $60.
Hey, Neil, are you taking out? Are you taking that pen? Do you need anything else to get some things? I didn't know.
I feel like I'm very boring compared to Rich too.
Oh, here! It's
Right here. Perfect.
But it was 25. I don't think he said it when he showed.
Oh, that's okay. This is by Allie. Little palette necklace opening $25. Also, Joanne bid 15 on Freddie Mercury. So Sandra, if you're watching, Freddie has a
Thunderbolts and
whole...
lightning.
Very, very frightening.
Yes.
Hero.
That was good. He's just a poor boy from a poor family. Did you make all of this out of polymer clay?
Yes.
My
The wood
friend-
grain.
I want to make it in
My friend
ceramics
Jay Hannon
next, though. I
passed
just
away when
need
I was
access
19.
to a kiln. I'm looking
and
at different
he
videos.
burned me a mixtape with
That's amazing.
that
Get a
song on it.
membership too for the summer.
And I was having a metaphysical crisis trying to imagine what happens to people after they die.
Opening 25.
And we were driving around in this old Oldsmobile where the speaker on the right door had been kicked enough times that it stopped working. So everything was in mono stereo. Not the same as mono, Scott. It's like,
Yeah.
It wasn't the Phil Spector wall of sound. It was half the
Opening
record.
25.
Yeah.
And so that record happens to go little high, little low. And right after Jay passed away, I'm driving around going, I hope Jay's okay. I popped that tape in. Was it a tape or it would have been a tape? And the right speaker said little high. The left speaker said nothing. So it's like, I'm wondering, at the moment that I was wondering if little Jay was okay, I hear little high. And then,
Oh.
and never in my life was I ever so happy to have a piece of the song cut out. It was like a sign that he's on.
Yeah.
He was high.
Unless
He was
hell's in space.
up. Yeah. Right.
Little high. Do, do, do.
Everything's in space.
Do, do.
Technically.
Right?
So by Allie, opening $25. Very cool.
Unless it's here on the
Did you
flat
want to
earth,
show
on the
Felix's
flat
art?
earth.
Did you want to show Felix's?
Yeah, okay, let me show you two pieces by that young Felix Theroux, who you might think is putting on airs, but he's not. Because he's 11. We've never told him about a Rorschach test. He doesn't know anything about that. But he has this gift of having grown up in an art studio where we don't freak out when he paints on the walls. And we don't freak out when he grabs my expensive paints. Some of you might have grabbed my expensive paints and got an earful, but Felix grabs my expensive paints and just starts like globbing them out onto the paper. And I'm like, what are you making there? And he's like, oh, I'm just experimenting. And it's not artificial, or it doesn't, like, as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem to me artificial in any way. There's something about Felix's artwork where I kind of half expect him to be
How much?
$20 for these two.
There's two sets, so there's that.
But I kind of half expect him to be, you know, because sometimes in art school somebody does something like this and they give you an explanation. You're like, I don't know, like, is it like, or could my little brother do that? But what I find is there's a bizarre continuity in his work that I see him make these mistakes, and he kind of plays them off as mistakes. Like he'll go, whoops, and it's like, I don't know if that was a whoops, like,
Yeah.
but the consistency with which he makes abstractions, is it because he's not attached to art materials the way we are? He's not
There's
wasteful in
probably
any way.
a combination. Yeah, it's not like
But what I envy of my 11-year-old son, I see it in Oliver.
Yeah.
I see it in Robin. Robin and Oliver, myself and Jessica, we use paint like we bought it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I love this color. I want to paint with it tomorrow too. How many people have that weakness in their life that the value of the paint interferes with the work? I'm being careful not to make it sound like Felix is spoiled. But he's been blessed enough to grow up in an environment where he will take a tube of paint and with his whole free expressive self do something I would never let my and like the expression on his face of wonder and awe when last week he had a hot pink page and he took the tube of paint and he kind of squiggled it out like a toothpaste. He squiggled it out like a toothpaste and he looked at it and like he was gonna say something, and he looked at it, he's like, nah, and he goes back and he puts a third squiggle of toothpaste on, and then all of a sudden he looks at it and he's like, and then he looks at me, he's like, I don't know, Dad. I kind of like it just the way it is. And I'm like, holy crap, like, what are you making? So it's interesting to watch him go through these processes where he thinks it's supposed to be looking like a bug. That's the interesting thing about these pieces, right? Actually, they even go nice together like this. But what's interesting about these pieces to me is he's very literal. And he strives to make things look real. But then, was anybody here when he was like taking big globs of paint, heat gunning them and peeling them off to make landscapes? Because I'm looking at him do this, and he's been peeling this piece of paint off for 25 minutes. I'm like, that looks like a volcano. And then he's like, hey, look, a volcano. So there's something kind of regal about Felix's work.
I like the first two.
Which are the first two? These
The
two?
black
Yeah,
and the-
20. I'll do.
Well, they don't have to start at 20. Let's start at 5.
Well, I'll go 10.
10. That sounds like a good deal.
Does that sound?
That's
Unless
fine.
somebody outbids me. And then that's,
No, it's okay. You know what? He's 11.
yeah,
He, like Jessica and myself, has donated everything he's made here.
but it's so
He
cool.
never asks for anything.
Yeah.
He is quite free with the paint, which are lessons I'm still learning. Like,
Yeah.
when we worked with Elijah was very good at helping me loosen up and not get attached to the value of the paint tubes that I bought.
Yeah.
And one of those lessons was he even didn't always take care of his brushes or put his lids on his paints.
Mm.
And like he and I, Elijah, the guy I opened the Gorilla House open with, Elijah and I were partners the first gallery. He kind of moved on with his life and then just helped me open the second gallery. But as much as you and I are Batman and Robin,
Yes.
Elijah was my Robin in the first gallery. Something that I did absolutely learn from him was what's in your hand? Was I came in and the lids are off his acrylic paints. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'd be like going to your grandma's house and horking on her table. Like you do this? Like you love painting. Why would you leave the lid off? And he's like, it's paint. I'm gonna get more paint. You know, I'm gonna use this paint. I'm gonna use the next paint. I'm gonna get more paint. Like it's paint. And that was a lesson I had to learn from him.
I found it.
Yeah. A little bit like the difference between Jim Henson and Carol Spinney. Jim Henson, obviously, he and Frank Oz did Ernie and Bert and Kermit and Piggy and that binary all the time. I don't know if you know this, Carol Spinney, who did Oscar the Grouch and Big Bird, was ostracized and bullied by the other Muppeteers. Imagine working on the Muppets and being the weirdo, right? Like
Right.
he was sitting on the outside, not included, because he was so sensitive. There's a story about how Carol Spinney was at a university and some of the frat boys got their hands on the Big Bird costume. And they're running around the field acting silly in it. Carol Spinney loved his puppets the way people love their children and their pets. And when he finally grasped hold of the costume, there was feathers falling out. He was like dropped in the field and he was weeping for his Big Bird costume. Whereas to Jim Henson, there might have been 9 Kermits, and you know he'd use a Kermit until he blew him up, and then he'd make another one. Like Jim Henson didn't treat his puppets like they were sacred. They were just tools that he used. And end of the day, they went in a trunk and threw in the back of the trunk. Whereas, you know, you sort of can picture Carol Spinney putting Big Bag to bed, closing his eyes for him, tucking him in, making sure he's comfy. I'm more of a Carol Spinney myself.
I was gonna say
yeah.
that's more. How
Yeah, but I had to learn through Elijah how to let leave my paint tubes off.
This is a very cool piece that we bought quite a while ago.
Did we buy it?
Yep.
And we're selling it because we're shutting the gallery down. My theory is I want to keep one of every piece that I bought. Everything else is probably going back in the auction.
Right.
At the end, on our last day, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to sell off the artwork that didn't get picked off, We might have a party where we go with staple guns and just hang everything in the
Are
woods.
everywhere.
Yeah.
good. That's
I would totally join that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the art bomb.
These are by Theo. These are opening $50 each, beautifully framed.
Did this get a bid?
And no, that's
What was the opening bid?
opening 60.
It's gorgeous.
It is really beautiful.
You will have to live the rest of your life not owning this orca jumping a sun.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
BC, but technically in Calgary for a while.
Where in BC did you attend when you lived in BC? Like you have family in BC and you went there a lot.
We were raised in Victoria.
Yeah.
Have you told me that before?
Nope.
No. So when I said where did you grow up, have you shown pictures of orca before?
Nope.
I haven't told you my story about the only time I ever went to the island.
Nope.
So I have an uncle or a cousin, you know, those close family friends that you would meet at the family reunions, and they'd be the special cool people in your family. But I didn't even know where they lived. My uncle Felix, actually, who my son's named after, had a I want to say a trailer park in Nanaimo. And so I always thought, you know, kind of bad for them that they lived in a trailer park, because that's what you learn on TV till you go to Nanaimo. And the trailer park are these mobile homes that are the most gorgeous little cottages you've ever seen. The plots of land are separated by 30-foot blackberry bushes that have blackberries the size of apples. Everybody there lives the greatest life you could possibly imagine. And in the same way that I once looked at a William Kerouac painting and thought, that feels like home. Why does that feel like home? And I looked at the title, and I might have mentioned living in St. Albert earlier. I looked at the title. I didn't know he was Canadian. Didn't know he was Albertan. The title of the piece was called 7 Ukrainian Carolers Walking Next to a Snow Fence in a Small Town Next to Edmonton. The color of the gray sky in the painting made me feel like home. And it turned out the painting was in a small town outside of Edmonton. And I grew up in St. Albert, which was the home I'd felt from that gray. When I looked at this, I asked you, where did you grow up? Because I could only imagine that you've grown up, I would have thought near Nanaimo, near enough to Nanaimo that I felt it through this piece. And my cousins, I don't know, like my Uncle Felix was actually my dad's uncle, like kind of distant.
Great uncle. Yeah.
But he's who I named is also my first motorcycle ride. Took me on a motorcycle ride. Spent the weekend at his house. Wasn't supposed to get on the motorcycle. He had kids that I barely knew that took me out for a ride in their boat, like because people have boats there. And imagine just being a city kid that mostly just, you know, I know how a skateboard touches the pavement. I do not know about stepping into your own boat and going into the water that looks just like Fish Creek, but it's actually the ocean. And then an orca blasted out of the water, just like SeaWorld, and landed back in the water. I grew up going to the Vancouver Aquarium. I knew what Vancouver, because when I grew up technically in Calgary, but I spent summers with my family in Vancouver, so I think of home as Coquitlam, even though we had a house there for 6 months. But when I think, well, we had a home in Coquitlam and a home in St. Albert, but I often would tell people, where are you from? Like, well, I'm half from Calgary, half from Vancouver. How long did you live in Vancouver? Like, my whole life. Well, every summer was most of my life, but this felt like home. Felt like your home. It felt like, I don't know if you've seen an orca jump out of the water.
The one year we went to the Queen Charlotte's Island, we got to see a couple of the whales besides the ferry.
Leap out of the water?
Just swimming beside it.
Does it happen very often?
It happened the year that I didn't get to go.
Yeah. Because I was in a boat, and I have 2 memories of this weekend. I was in a boat. This orca went flying through the air. The other thing I remember was it was the year that everybody in the world bought a sound system so they could watch Top Gun on DVD. So they built this movie theater in their basement, which is probably, I built like 1,000 movie theaters trying to emulate this. And in their basement, they'd put speakers all over the place, kind of like our living room. And I sort of feel like there's these promises with DVDs that one, you'd be able to like set your room up and it would be like Top Gun. Two, the early days of DVDs, they promised that you'd be able to watch with this one random button all the other scenes, all the other cut scenes, and you could flip through. But it was only Shrek that did the cut things with the DVDs. And it was only Top Gun that put that much energy into the sound stereo system. So the two movies that really made use of DVDs, nobody else did, and they just dropped those features. Does anybody but me remember a 3-dimensional button on the DVDs where you could have alternate scenes?
No.
What's the thing?
Like I
I believe it.
I have Shrek, but I think
When
it's,
they were trying to pitch the ideas of DVDs to people who were watching videos, the ads for DVDs on videos like coming soon, Sony DVD. One of the buttons was pause, one of the buttons was fast forward, one of the buttons was stop, one of the buttons was alternate view. And so when they made a movie like Shrek,
Yeah.
not every scene, but maybe 10 out of 50 scenes would have a little dot would pop up in the corner, and if you wanted to press that button, you could click through and get different views of that scene.
Whoa.
and if for an animated, that would be crazy because
Yeah.
they'd have to
So
animate.
the first, like,
Whoa!
First 5 iterations of DVDs that came out,
I have to
like
see.
a couple of the movies would make an effort to sort of play along with this. None of the movies took advantage of the feature, and they eventually took it off the.
Oh.
Maybe I'm making this up. Maybe this is one of my lucid dreams.
We're all gonna go and look.
If there's
for that.
anybody left online that can confirm my story, it's
Usually Gina's there to
Gina will be
Gina
there
will
for
fact
me.
check. Yeah.
Somebody fact check my story and see if there used to be a feature on the DVDs.
The DVD.
But I 1000% believe this orca.
This is by Morgan. Opening $50. So we're gonna say text 403-629-7424. I don't even think we said that today because
403 629
usually Alex is there.
403-629-7424.
That is 403 629 7424.
We're just assuming everyone knows what we're doing here.
Can I
Like,
tell you how weird it is when I go to the bank and they go, "Can I get your phone number?" I'm like, 403 629 7424. They're like, "What just happened?"
I'm like, we do the show.
And I use that voice for two things. Because after we started doing this, and I was being silly using my radio voice to do the phone number, the first 10 years of Siri in my life, Siri can't hear me. So I'm like, "Siri, call my wife. I am hearing you're in danger for your life." No, Siri, call Jessica, calling Jason. Siri, call. And like Siri cannot understand my slur. But if I'm alone in the car, I can do the radio voice. Siri understands me perfectly. "Siri, please tell me the address to the Calgary International Airport." And then it gives me, but if I use that voice.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Is that a Vancouver accent or a Calgary accent?
That's my radio accent.
Or Superman accent.
403. Oh, yeah.
It's your superhero accent.
Well, okay.
Oh yeah.
It actually came from this action figure I had when I was a kid. And when you pulled the string, it would repeat a few different messages like, "Send me a rescue truck.
Yeah.
I'm going in for a look. Looks bad. Be careful." That'd be like my generation's, "There's a snake in my boots."
100%. I was gonna say that. On
Did
that
you know
note-
any of those, Scott? Do you recognize that tone? That's from Big Jim.
Well, I do. Yeah, I have that.
Looks bad.
Yeah.
Be careful. Is a
I
little
know
red
that.
backpack.
Yeah.
The Big Jim action pack.
Yeah.
I'm going in for a look.
I think the people here deserve a round of
Who's that?
applause.
Send me a rescue truck.
I've read how rescue.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Thank
Are you gonna finish this
you. It's too late. And everyone's
It's not even
sad.
late.
It's late. I love it.
It's
It's-
late.
10:30.
I'm tired. I love you guys so much. And yeah. No, I'm not. That's not even funny. That's not even funny. That's not even funny. No.
Bye. And Uber has been